welcome to your weekly messages. Excuse me. These are your messages for the coming week. Today is Sunday, the 6th of October, 2024. If you haven't already seen the messages for the month of October, link in the description, video in the end screen. They were all about thinking with the heart and understanding that our power lies in using our senses. Definitely, especially ESP, our extra sensory perception. But yeah, intuition is, of course, a sense, a sixth sense, and that's where our power lies. And it was about the word sensible as well. Sensible meaning using your senses as opposed to being boring and dull and anything else. So yeah, we really do need to give language a big overhaul. I'm finding that despite the fact that English is meant to have such a vast vocabulary, I'm finding that we don't have the words to explain the experiences that we're having now in this great awakening. And I'm also finding that so many words have a connotation, whether it be a negative connotation or a positive connotation, which means when you use that word, everyone's going to immediately think you're speaking negatively or positively, and you don't really want to speak either negatively or positively because we've raised above that, right? We're not looking at the right and wrong. We're just trying to be objective, and it's quite difficult to do that with the language, I find, and I'm finding a lot of language is insufficient to say the least. So we need to reclaim, I think, a lot of words for lots of reasons as well, which I'm sure most of you know about, but just about yeah, so that we can actually communicate without misunderstanding. But we're all going to hear words and have our own interpretation anyway, based on our own filter. Okay, let's dive in. 4 cards have come out. Let's see what's going on. The Hanged Man, beautiful way to start. Stillness, major arcana. He is reminding us that divine action is born out of stillness. Now, I think that was the title of a message a few months ago. But divine action is born out of stillness. It is not born out of being busy. Take the time and to see things from another perspective. You know, I'm a great fan of being upside down. I often say this: just hang your head over the side of the bed, or even just do the wide leg forward fold. That's one of my favorites. You have your legs wide open and then you just forward fold from the hips, obviously not from the waist, and look through your legs. It's just a way of looking at the world another way. That's what he's doing. And I know it sounds silly because you think, oh, what's that going to do? It's just going to give me head rush or what have you. Take your time, practice it a little bit, obviously. But you will find when you come up, it's quite fun, but also when you see things differently physically, everything's connected. We can see things differently emotionally. We can see things differently mentally and spiritually. It's all connected. That's what he's saying as well. He's enlightened. So we need to listen to him, right? He's about not forcing action. Don't do things that don't feel right. If it doesn't feel right, then it isn't right. And you don't need to make an effort. Also, you know, on the subject of money, people think we have to work really hard for our money. But we're the heaven on earth that we're creating. Our level of consciousness is our new currency. So you need to spend your time, money, and energy on raising your level of consciousness if you want to live in greater abundance. Really, that can be the case. So it's not about working hard, it's about raising our frequency and doing the inner work. Doing the inner work hard. But even that doesn't have to be hard, because opportunities come up every day for us to be able to process and self-realize and things like that. And he is very self-realized. He's very self-realized. So stillness is the access point to acceleration. If you want to speed up, you have to slow down, right? That's the message with him. And we've got the Hierophant, another major arcana. They're face down, so I don't know what's coming. And he's the spiritual teacher. The message with this card is to seek a mentor and to become a mentor. So as I always say with this card, whatever you're learning about, it could be a message from this video, or whatever you're reading or watching or learning about at the moment, pass it on to other people. If it resonated with you and it helped you on your journey in some way, pass it on to other people. Little message here about not ramming it down their throats. There are many paths to Rome, many roads to Rome, many paths to enlightenment. And some of them are motorways, for example, like tarot, or for me, or yoga, or something like that. For somebody else, it might be music. Somebody else, it might be gardening. For somebody else, it might be Qigong. It might be art. We all have these avenues to enlightenment. And some of us will have the same motorway. We'll be driving on the same motorway. And then other people won't, you know, they'll be having their own path. And some paths might be just for a little trip. I've said this before about my vegetable garden. I had a vegetable garden for a couple of years, absolutely loved it, learned a lot about all sorts of things, spoke to the plants spoke to me, beautiful experience. Gardening isn't for me. It's not my motorway to enlightenment, but it is the motorway for a lot of people. So you could have little scenic detours like that, which is beautiful, right? But there's many roads to Rome. So this is why it's important that we can't ram something down someone's throat, as if we'd want to do that. But you know what I mean? Just because something works for us doesn't mean it's going to work for somebody else. Okay? There's many ways that we can release trapped emotions. Okay, obviously the emotion code is my favorite, and I share that, and it resonates with a lot of people, but it doesn't resonate with everybody, of course not, because they're going to go and find their own, the tapping or some other emotional release technique. It's perfect the way it all works. So he is about sharing what we've learned, but doing it in a way that just allows people to come if they resonate. So we're not telling people what to do. That's the message with this card. But we are seeking a mentor, and we are becoming a mentor. And I do like to mention with this card, because he is a spiritual teacher, the Seven Hermetic Principles. He's obviously read the book, the Kybalion, by the Three Initiates, which was written in 1908. The audiobook is available free on YouTube. You can hunt that out. I'll put a link in the description, make it easy for you. And the Seven Hermetic Principles are the laws that govern the universe. And of course, if you want to know what's going on in the universe, then it would be good to know how the universe is governed, so that we can work with those powerful laws and not against them. He's not working against them, is he? He obviously knows the Seven Hermetic Principles as well, because he's working within those laws. That's why his life is easy and he's chilled. And he's not running around like a headless chicken. So yeah, good information there, good advice there. We've got the Four of Swords, which of course comes hand in hand with this one, because this one is about resting, retreating, relaxing, reflecting, rejuvenating, anything else beginning with RE. No, but this is about taking time for yourself. And if you are running around like a headless chicken, it's going to be quite stressful. And this card does carry an energy of worry and anxiety with it, but it's that kind of worry and anxiety that is eased as soon as we stop and rest, retreat, relax, reflect. Okay, so this card is saying take more time for you. Just that little bit of solitude. I think I mentioned it recently about the 3-minute pause. Just take 3-minute pause, morning, noon, and night. Okay, and in 3 minutes, you know, if you're working 9 to 5, you can still go to the bathroom for 3 minutes at lunchtime, can't you? Just 3 minutes, you know, whenever you want, and you'll find that you enjoy that 3 minutes so much that you're going to want more of it and more of it and more of it, until in the end you will actually book a retreat. The last card is Seven of Pentacles. You have everything you need. Galore, galore. I have everything I need and more. I don't think I've said that one for a while. I used to say it quite a lot, didn't I? Because I really feel like when I say that affirmation, galore, galore, I have everything I need and more, I just feel so abundant. And when you feel the abundance, the frequency of the abundance within you, then that is what is getting reflected back to you. That is what's creating your abundance. Pentacles is typically money, right? Career, finances, business. It could be clients, it could be resources. You know, it's abundance. It's practical. And it's whatever it is that's coming to you has to be a reflection of a part of you, remember? So we have to create it within us. So the more we feel abundant on the inside, the more abundance we can create on the outside. And what is abundance? It doesn't mean living in the lap of luxury. I mean, maybe for you it does. I don't know. But abundance for me is having everything I need and everything I want. To me, that's abundance. So yeah, can you say that? Have you got everything you need and everything you want? Okay. And if you don't, do you trust that at the time that you need something, it will be there? Trusting is a big one as well, isn't it? Trusting. I trust in the process of life. And if you don't trust something outside of you, it's because you're not trusting yourself. So I trust myself completely. This is coming up quite a lot, I think, for people. I trust myself completely. Let's say it one more time. I trust myself completely. Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? Can you say that and feel an expanded feeling of resonance because you trust yourself completely? Or when you say that, is there a part of you that contracts because you know there's a part of you that you're not quite trusting? Wow. So he's saying, trust that you have everything you need in order to do whatever it is that you want. He's reflecting, because he's come on the heels of this one. And this one's resting, retreating, relaxing, and reflecting, remember? And he's reflecting on everything that he's accumulated. And very often, with a lot of people that I'm mixing with at the moment, people have learned a lot of different modalities or a lot of different skills, they've had a lot of different experiences in different jobs. And what I'm seeing is people are bringing it all together. And this is where our uniqueness is, because especially in our area in the Costa Blanca, like there's lots of tarot card readers, there's lots of, massage therapists, there's lots of yoga teachers, there's lots of artists, but everyone's bringing their uniqueness from their own experiences into what they're offering. So no two teachers, no two mentors are going to be the same. That's why different people will resonate with different mentors. And there's no, oh, why didn't they come to me? Or, I need more clients. I mean, there's none of that going on when you understand that it's a resonance thing. I mean, all right, you do need to share what your offerings are, what your services are, but as long as you're in alignment and I know who I am, I know what I am, I know how I serve. That's from Paul Selig's book, Innocence. Well, I think he says it probably in all of his books. It's not so much him, he channels the guides. But yeah, I know who I am, I know what I am, I know how I serve. And that's really, really beautiful. But if we look at the bigger picture and we take it away from, jobs, work, or something like that, and just have a look as individuals, individuals in humanity, individual humans making up humanity. How do we serve? Whether you work or not, whether you work for money or not, whether you're retired, whether you've never worked, it doesn't matter. It's not about work and play. The universe doesn't know the difference. For us, it just means that this one we get paid for and this one we don't. But that's a old paradigm thing going on, because we're serving all the time and we have the ability to serve humanity all the time. And you wouldn't be watching this video now if you were not following your heart and wanting to serve humanity at this time of the Great Awakening. And you've come here to raise the consciousness level of humanity at this time. And you're doing it by being you. I just want to make that really, really clear. You're doing it by being you. You might be offering healing services, you might be offering counseling services, you might be offering aid to war-torn areas, you might be taking in stray animals, I'm sure you're doing good stuff, right? But we serve We actually serve through observing. Yeah, we actually serve through observing. Observing something changes what's being observed. By observing it, we can change something. This is like a quantum truth, and it's difficult to get our head around it. So activate your intuition and activate your truth radar. Activate your truth radar. If it doesn't resonate, fine. But from a quantum perspective, what we observe changes according to the level of consciousness of the observer. The observer has a profound effect on what's being observed. Now, I had this experience. I'm going to bring it into practical terms. I had this experience when I was a school teacher. So people would, I had a reputation for being good with the naughty boys. You know, I don't know, but that's what people said. So I was always given the naughty boys, the class with the naughtiest boys in. And this idea about labeling a child a troublemaker, and then they will become a troublemaker. We call this the self-fulfilling prophecy. If you label somebody something, they will become it. If you observe somebody with a judgment, they will match your judgment. But not only that, they will take you there to the darkness. That's a Paul Selig as well, isn't it? If you put someone in the darkness, they will take you there. But what he doesn't say is when you put someone in the light, they will take you there, right? And that's what we want to do. So I was always getting these naughty boys, but they would come to me, and I didn't see them as naughty. I wasn't labeling them as naughty, maybe sometimes cheeky, right? But I wasn't labeling them as naughty. And what I saw in front of me was children that needed love. They were seeking attention, children that were seeking attention because they needed love. And I gave them love in a nutshell. So they didn't need to seek attention. They could seek the positive attention, you know, and they felt good about themselves, and they became far more loving individuals. I didn't have a problem with them at all. You know, they might have been cheeky, they might have pushed boundaries, you know, but when you understand all of this stuff, you know, and you can love them, and you understand that love is what changes everything. I didn't understand this stuff then. What I'm doing now is looking back and seeing how that happened. And then people, the parents would come in and say, oh, they're different, they're behaving differently, they're really well behaved. And, you know, and I realize now why I was supposedly good with the naughty boys. It was just because I loved them, genuinely. But this really is how it works from a quantum perspective, because if you, at your level of consciousness, if you love something, then you affect it at that level of consciousness. So when you love something that you're observing, you raise what you're observing to that level of love. And if you observe something with judgment, then you're keeping it at a level of judgment. Our power lies in our level of the level of consciousness of our observations. This is the profound effect of observation, that we are creating a reality based on our perception of what we're observing. So when we can see the good in people, when we can see the good in people, and it might be buried, okay, like our good, like our divinity, buried. You've got to find it, right? You've got to find this love. But when you look and you observe and you see the good in other people, then you're seeing the good in you. That's your divinity. Then you raise it to that good. Label it as good and it will be good. Wow. Wow, that was a bit that was a bit deep. From a quantum perspective, when we observe something, what's actually happening is we're collapsing the wave function. That's so when you observe something, the wave function that is creating that object collapses. And then you have the power to create it. Behold, I make all things new. That's another quote from Paul Selig. I'll put a link in the description to his website, because obviously I quote him quite a lot. Behold, I make all things new. Behold means like observe. I make all things new. Because when you observe something, the wave function collapses, and then you can create from your level of consciousness. That's how powerful you are. You are creating your reality from your level of consciousness. That's why it's so important to love yourself and expand and open your heart and live in a world of love and kindness. Because that's how we create love and kindness in everything that we observe. Does that make sense? I'm not a quantum physicist. I don't really know this stuff, but it resonates with me. It resonates with me. My truth radar says, yes, there's truth in it, but I can't really explain it. But I know, I do feel like the message this week is about seeing the good. Seeing the good in everyone, including yourself. Seeing the value, seeing the worth, seeing the divinity in yourself and seeing the divinity in others. When you see the divinity in others, that is a reflection of your divinity, of course, because everybody's holding a mirror up. So when you see the divinity in other people, then that's you living your divinity. You can't get more alignment than that, can you? Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Stillness, remember, stillness this week. Still, let the contemplation in, let the realizations in, let the love in, and let the love out. I love you all. Have a fantastic week. See you in the next video. Bye for now.